Welcome to Movie Speeching. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take good care. Monsters of Men is the name of the movie. Please like and subscribe to get every update. While the world is in a war, more than 200 companies are developing extremely advanced robots and competing to see who wins the best military contracts first. At the airport in Cambodia, the three programmers were picked up by Bowler, who refused to answer any questions and showed the three his gun to silence them. They are taken to a shabby apartment to set up their equipment, but only Kroger and Fielding stay at while Jantz is taken to set up a link stop. Bowler informs Green, who's sent from a plane with 4 BR robots to the Golden Triangle. In the woods, Angie and 5 other doctors on a humanitarian mission saw their truck damaged due to spike traps. They will therefore have to locate the village on foot. Nearby, Jantz and Bowler also arrive, and Bowler instructs Jantz to be careful because he may find explosives hidden in trees. They also had to hide whenever patrols passed by. Finally, they found the correct location and Jantz quickly installed the communication device. Bowler also came up with something he simply called a backup plan. Once everything was in order, Green had access to the cameras while Kroger was informed by Boss Foster that there might be a change in focus and that the CIA was involved. He was shocked to hear this and asked Jantz about it, but Bowler suddenly became silent. Doctors passed by them but didn't see them, so they continued walking until they heard a strange noise. Luckily, we're just a bunch of kids playing soldier. Jantz and Bowler then return to apartment and the plane finally drops Robot into the jungle. The BR-4 robot's parachute did not open properly and it immediately lost the signal. BR-3 had some problems with the communication module, which was very dangerous because if they lost contact, they will lose the ability to control the robot and it will be able to target anyone thanks to advanced AI. As the robots begin to leave, the doctors reach the village of where they meet Keala and Mason. Their conversation is interrupted by the arrival of local smugglers, who aggressively push Mason and to attack Jordan. They didn't care whether the doctors were volunteers or not. The smugglers told them to leave or they would kill them. Meanwhile, the robots arrive at the configuration Jantz left before, and Bowler forces the programmers to update the code with the new mission objective, which will take some time. They also discovered that the BR-4 was finally working, although it was not responding properly. Back to the doctors, they will spend the evening in the village of Keala while the smugglers watch them, promising that will leave in the morning. Jordan realized that Mason was a Navy SEAL because of his tattoos and reported him doing nothing against the smugglers, almost escalating into a fight until the others stopped block them. The next morning, the engineering team finished updating the code and was worried because it didn't look like the simple simulation as promised. According to this new code, robots arm themselves and start moving without their intervention. Meanwhile, the village children were playing in the forest when they came across a fallen parachute and found BR-4 underneath. Keala's son, Leap, takes his module to launch the robot. Too scared, the children immediately ran away. BR-4 checks his own systems, and when he discovers his module is missing, he checks his footage and proceeds to search for Leap. In the village, smugglers try to make the doctors leave. Lep interrupts them to give the module to his father and the leader of the Prac smugglers, but he does not take it seriously. Soon, robots appear outside the village and Green wants them to attack the smugglers. The tech team initially refuses because there are civilians, but Bowler threatens to kill them until they activate the order. The robots immediately opened fire on the village and the smugglers tried their best to defend themselves, but their bullets could not withstand such strong armor and soon they were dead everywhere. A child is shot in the head, so Mason rushes to save Leap, leaving him with Keala and the doctors in the cabin before hiding out with Prac to discuss strategy. Another child reaches for the fallen smuggler's gun to defend himself, but before the robot can fire, Fielding stops it. She objects to the killing of civilians, but Bowler says they are all witnesses and therefore should also be eliminated. Jantz also tried to protest, but Bowler pointed a gun at him, so Kroger reactivated the robot and that child was also shot. The robots then move throughout the village, killing all remaining smugglers and even shooting inside the cabin. Mason and Prac carefully sneak out and into Keala's cabin. Prac tries to leave with just Leap, but Mason stops him because the boy wants to stay with Keala. After a tense moment, Prac leaves and the group hears strange noises outside. An injured woman is crying for her dead child. The doctors wanted to help her, but the robot got there first and killed her. At this time, the robot detected the presence of a group of people in the cabin and opened fire. The group immediately ran away and Mason showed them a place to hide before running back to distract the robot. When he appeared on camera, the tech team froze the robot because Mason was clearly not a smuggler. Seeing this, Mason tells the others that it is safe to go out, but now all their faces are recorded on camera. Green orders the tech team to destroy them all and leave no witnesses, especially when he learns that Mason is a former SEAL. The robot is reactivated, so Prac turns around and shoots it to distract it so Keala and Leap can escape as well. Mason and the others continued running and saved a few children, but the group scattered when they entered the woods, so the children were still shot. A few minutes later, BR-4 arrives at Keala's cabin looking for clues about Leap. A local tried to stop him, but the robot killed him within seconds. After that, he used the tablet to access the internet and learn many things about people. It seems like AI is slowly becoming self-aware. It took away the boy's mind and heart, but he could not understand them. Then he tried to look at the guy's face, but he quickly threw it away and went out following Leap's footsteps. In the jungle, the first scene returns. Angie runs only to be shot and fall. BR2 took his passport and scanned it, at which point Green and the technical team learned that the writers were just volunteer doctors. However, BR2 still used his foot to hit Angie's head. Meanwhile, Keala runs with Mason, whose hand is injured by a stray bullet. While trying to hide, they find 3 doctors, Jordan, Dez, and Tien. They decided to hide overnight in a cave, and doctors treated Mason's hand. That night, Dr. Bao was running alone in the forest when he suddenly slipped and fell, causing pain in his leg. He screams in pain and is heard by Mason's group, but when Jordan tries to leave to help him, Mason stops him before he can reveal their location. Bao continued to shuffle and run away, but could not move too fast, so BR2 quickly discovered and killed him. Suddenly, the tech team discovers that BR4 is hacking their systems and trying to contact them. The trio cannot access its files to stop it, and now BR4 is downloading. Green orders them to terminate BR4, but when the team tries to activate the self-destruct code, RB4 simply blocks it. They also consider activating Bowler's emergency bomb, but they cannot because it would destroy the Jantz facility and they would lose connection to the other robots. Bowler lost his mind at the possible consequences and pulled a series of wires to block the hack, which also caused them to lose connection to each robot and cut off the apartment's power. Bots 1 through 3 are now frozen, but BR4 continues to search for Leap, meaning his AI is not limited. After the tech team gets the computer working again, they come up with a new plan. BR1 will attack Mason's group, but BR2 and 3 will be tasked with stopping BR4. The next morning, Mason left the cave and found Bao's body. He also saw BR2, so he carefully dug up a mine and threw it as far as possible. While BR2 watches the explosion, Mason picks up the group and guides them to the smuggling factory, where they suddenly hear gunfire coming from the woods. Leap, Prak, and the last Dr. Wendy appear to be fleeing the fire, and the two groups are eventually reunited. While Prak finds his secret weapon pit, BR1 appears and opens fire, so everyone flees in the cabin. Unfortunately, a stray bullet injured Tien in the knee. Suddenly, BR1 breaks through the cabin's wall and pulls Dez out, but Mason throws a hammer at the robot's head, causing it to miss, only injuring Dez's ear. Mason then runs away so the robot follows him and the others can take Dez back to the cabin. BR1 continued to advance and found Prak, taking him down with a single shot. An annoyed Leap walks out to show the robot that he has the module, which is seen on camera by Green and the team. Keala rushes to protect Leap, but before BR1 can shoot them, Prak intervenes and is killed. Mason then rushed out to fight the robot, but he was quickly defeated. Soon after, Jordan followed him with the gun he found in the cabin, but fell and lost it. Mason returns to fighting to distract BR1 and Jordan flees in the cabin. Mason then rushed to the weapons pit and planted the mine. When BR1 got close enough, Mason fired the mine, causing an explosion that injured his leg. The robot was broken but still working, so Mason ran over and started hitting it. Bowler forced the team to activate the self-destruct mode, but luckily Mason saw the light and ran away just before it exploded. Back at the cabin, Leap mourns Prak and Keala reveals that she is seriously injured. Mason turned around and called for help, so Tien and Wendy tried to save her. Once everyone has finished making repairs, the group leaves, unaware that the tech team is now monitoring the module. Meanwhile, BR3 finally finds and attacks BR4. However, BR4 uploaded many new abilities to the internet that BR3 did not know how to handle, so in just a few minutes, BR4 had the upper hand. Bowler wanted BR3 to self-destruct, but Foster ordered him not to do so because he wanted to save the brain advanced of BR4. BR4 then uses 3 to access the group computer again and say thank you before starting the download. It's so bad that Bowler and Green decide to ignore Foster's orders and tell the team to activate BR3's self-destruct feature, but BR4 intercepts them and removes 3's module to stuff into his head to continue the download. Bowler decides he will have to go into the woods and deal with BR4 himself, but Kroger offers an alternative, a new module with enhanced tactics to reactivate BR3. As they discussed details, Bowler realized Fielding was outside and called her husband. He chased her and demanded her phone, but Fielding started running away. After a short chase, she found herself at a dead end, so she grabbed a pipe and hit Bowler and continued on. Unfortunately, she fell and injured her ankle, allowing Bowler to capture and kill her with a knife. All of this was heard by her husband through her phone, which Bowler found and used to trace the phone number. Bowler then returned to the apartment and told Kroger and Jantz to pack their bags because they had been trespassed, pretending not to know where Fielding was. After leaving the apartment, Bowler blew it up. In America, Fielding's husband was killed at his home by an assassin sent by Bowler. Back in the jungle, Mason's group climbed some rocks to put more distance between themselves and the robots. All the healthy people climbed up and the injured were brought back, but they wasted so much time that the tech team had to put their computers in a new location and reactivate the robot. Soon BR2 found the group, but only Jordan remained on the ground. After a few missed shots, he started running away and hid among the rocks. As BR2 gets closer, he considers erasing himself, but the group screams his name and distracts the robot. This allows Jordan to escape safely and reunite with the group. Unfortunately, BR2 climbed after him, so they threw rocks at him, causing him to fall. Meanwhile, Bowler leaves with the new module, but first makes sure to intimidate people close to Jantz and Kroger so they don't try anything. Soon after, Bowler arrives at the forest and plants the module and an explosive pack in BR3, who immediately flees and reveals that he can now speak. Meanwhile, Mason's group continues to move through a cave, but after walking so much, they need to rest. When the doctors discovered Dez was deaf, they suddenly heard a noise and were scared, but it turned out he was just a blind man who had no understanding of reality. Mason then took the group deep into the cave to spend the night safely. The next morning, Keala was unresponsive and doctors realized she was bleeding internally and began treating her wound. Just then, BR2 appears in the cave, so Jordan and Mason go out to check on her. Unfortunately, BR2 hears Mason and begins chasing him, causing him to stumble and injure himself. Jordan makes noise to distract the robot from Mason. The group couldn't move yet because of Keala, so Jordan fired BR2 in vain. Suddenly, Mason turns around and throws a rock at the robot to make it chase, and as BR2 runs, he falls into a hole and gets stuck. Once the doctors are done with Keala, they leave the cave, ignoring the robot, but Jordan has had enough and shoots it. Not far away, Bowler followed BR3, who stepped on a mine without being hit by the mine. In the cave, BR2 finally freed himself. Moments later, the group arrives at some old ruins, but Keala dies in Mason's arms. While they were mourning her at the temple, BR2 found them, so they started to run away. Leap leads Dez, Wendy, and TN out of the area while Jordan and Mason stay behind to distract the robot. They shot several times, but to no avail, so they snuck out and hid into the woods to find the others. Mason eventually realizes that BR2 must follow the module and throws it, which immediately causes the robot to spin in the opposite direction. BR2 found the module, so the tech team asked him to track the fingerprint. He quickly finds the group and wounds Wendy with a gunshot while Dez accidentally steps on a mine. Then, the robot grabbed Leap and Mason jumped in to save, causing BR2's leg to break. Suddenly BR4 appeared and grabbed BR2's head to start downloading, so the technical team had to cut the connection to stop it. As BR4 rips 2's head off, Kroger reminds Jantz that their loved ones are in danger and convinces them to get back online, only to discover BR2's death. In the woods, Leap tries to capture Mason, but BR4 stops them and asks what it is. They had no answer, so BR4 retrieved its original module and turned it back on to resume downloading, forcing the tech team to cut the connection again. Meanwhile, doctors discovered Dez was still alive, but he shared his last words before dying in their arms. Back in BR4, he asks Mason and Leap some existential questions about why, in war, some lives matter and others don't. As he wonders if his ability to learn means he's alive, he's suddenly attacked by BR3 and a brutal robot war ensues. While the machines fight, the doctors save Mason and Leap, but are stopped by Bowler, who immediately shoots Jordan. Mason tells the group to run while he begins a gunfight with Bowler, but he has to hide when the robots get too close. Bowler tries to reach him, but luckily Mason finds a mine and throws it at him. Soon, both robots fall and struggle on the ground as it is revealed that Bowler is still alive. Mason asks him to fight him like a man, but before they can begin the knife fight, BR4 grabs Bowler's leg and knocks him out. The group returns from Mason and Green orders the group to kill them all by self-destructing all three, but BR4 intercepts them. He then tells the group that life really matters and tells them to run away. Once the group has gone far enough, BR4 will self-destruct, taking out Bowler and BR3. Green calls Foster to complain, but Foster considers the test a success and cancels the deal with the CIA before letting the tech team leave. However, an angry Green activates a bomb left by Mason and kills them both. In the woods, the group escapes safely, but Bowler is also shown to actually be alive. Moments later, at the robot factory, it is revealed that BR4 has finished downloading and is now in the other robots. Thank you for watching. See you on the next video.